Welcome back. You're watching the Monday Report, and of course you can talk to us. 22422 is the SMS line and the hashtag is Monday Report. Well, he's the poster boy who attracts love and detest in equal measure, and arguably a refined poker game expert of Kenya's political fault lines. I'm talking about Aden Duale, whose tenure as majority leader in the National Assembly has elevated his stature, and his style is often characterized by his critics as a show of arrogance and raw force while aggressively pushing government business in parliament. But he's also seen as a shrewd politician, a diehard supporter of Deputy President William Ruto, with his eyes on a prime government slot should Ruto succeed President Uhuru Kenyatta in 2022. But there is also another side of Duale that is seldom seen. Now, Francis Gachuri took a trip to Garissa County and now brings us days of Duale.
Wamekamua asubuhi, maziwa imejaa.
Sasa hizi zinakamuliwa how many liters of milk in a day?
Kila moja inatoa 10 to 15 liters a day.
Moja?
Kwanza ngamia inakamuliwa 3 times. In the morning, lunchtime, and in the evening. Wapi Gachuri?
Niko hapa naona.
Kuja.
Oh, like I try to milk one?
Yes, yes.
Ah.
Bas.
This is also the same way I should try to milk some information from you.
Yes. Let me have my milk.
Please do.
This is what my great-grandfather used to do, my friend.
Ah.
I don't mind if you don't. If you try.
I'm not sure I should try, but
No,
let me try.
Very nice.
Nice.
What do you mean? It's the most clean milk.
Fresh from the...
Fresh. It's hot. No mixing of anything else. In the pastoralist community, number one, we don't disclose how many camels you own. So even me, I will not tell you the number of my herds.
Why?
It's cultural. In fact, not only camels. They don't even disclose the number of their children to the outside world.
So this is the other side of Aden Duale.
Yeah, yes. This is where I come when the seat in parliament becomes very hot. The politics become so toxic. When I want to unwind, I come to my farm here. Sit with these young guys, look after the herds, which one is sick, which one is okay. In our tradition, when a kid is born, before the age of 5 years, the father will bring him to the farm, to the camel boma, and he will give him one female camel. Okay?
What does that mean?
And he becomes part and parcel of the ownership, and is a start for him to learn that in his life he must own a camel. So the father will give him one female or 2. And as he grows 10, 15 years, by the time he's 18, the herd could have grown to about 10 of giving birth and all that, and nobody touches that. In the pastoral community, those who have large herds of camel exclusively owns the decision making. The guy with the less, whether it is 5, 10, 20, he comes to the meeting where the decision is made. Those who own large herds, they sit at the high table. And why they're given that privilege is that because of that zakah, of paying alms and supporting the community. So if there is blood money to be paid, blood money is paid in our community through camels. For example, traditionally, if you kill somebody and you agree on a settlement outside court, outside the normal judicial process, you come to the traditional dispute mechanism, you pay 100 camels, blood money. So who pays 100 camels? The 100 camels is contributed by those who own large herds.
You sit in parliament where you allocate money for various projects, including budgets.
Yes.
How does it make you feel when you hear some certain amount of money has been misappropriated and was meant for dams?
It is very, very ashamed to be a Kenyan when the many resources, the trillions that we appropriate in parliament, instead of going to improve the lives of the people of Kenya, it goes to people's pockets. It's very, very, very sad.
What do you think is the fate of the war on corruption?
I think let's give credit where it deserves. The office of the DPP, the office of the EACC, the office of the DCI, the Auditor General, yeah, you know, he has lived with this, so that is his home, that's his bedroom.
Okay.
Have done a very good job. But you know, the war on corruption is twofold. One, there must be results. Okay? There must be results. And that's why I want to tell it to President Uhuru Kenyatta, that the war on corruption will only become your legacy. Only. And you'll be remembered for when big fishes are convicted, arraigned in court, convicted to between 30 to 40 years in jail without an option of fine. We will remember. It was during President Uhuru Kenyatta that the so-and-so minister, so-and-so governor, so-and-so member of parliament, so-and-so public official was jailed for that. People are arraigned in court. They get bail terms, whether they're huge or small, and that's the end of the story. You tell me. So it's a PR exercise from where I sit. So there is a missing link. The missing link, the war on corruption, must be fought by the three arms of government and supported by all the institutions created by the Constitution. In 2019, I can tell you, if you ask me, was a year that we won the war on corruption in terms of perception.
There have also been allegations that Parliament is at times a laundromat for the corrupt, that some money will be dished out around and some reports will be diluted. Is Parliament in one way or another facilitating corruption in our country?
Because of the various vested interests within the corridors of Parliament, then the quality and the quantity and independence of Parliament as an institution is compromised. The Auditor General flags that there are 300 billion lost in a financial year. But when it comes to Parliament, that reduces to zero. So you ask yourself, who is cheating who? We just condemn corruption for the sake of it, to play cheap political perception. And if you ask me, nobody in the political class, majority I can say, made their wealth through corruption. You know, and I want to say it here.
Would the same be said about you?
I am ready. I should have been flagged off long time ago. I should have been flagged off. In fact, if you want to come and do a lifestyle audit, you'll come. I'll bring you to my farm, to my camels here. But the problem is, the people who are champions of corruption, anti-corruption crusaders in our country today, are the biggest beneficiary of corruption. You know, the biggest joke in our country is the Wealth Declaration Form. The Wealth Declaration Forms, of course, is against the Privacy Act. Must be made public. You know, a minister comes and says, when we are vetting him, he says, I'm worth 100 million. But 3 years down the line, he's worth 2 billion. There's a lot of talk in town that still they are untouchables. There are people who their files are being kept somewhere. I think that fear is widespread. Whether you talk about Ruaraka, whether you talk about other some counties, I think and I have full confidence in the DPP and the DCI and the EACC. Going forward, I think they must prove beyond reasonable doubt that there are no special class.
What are your projections, especially on the political scene, with the BBI talk, with the clamor for reforms?
We either have a pure presidential system that we have now, or we have a parliamentary system of government. Period. You can't have a mongrel. Because if you have a powerful prime minister and a president elected by the people, it doesn't work. The country will be unstable. It will be unstable. So under a presidential system of government, if you want just to have some inclusivity, create a prime minister who will be in charge of cabinet, but appointed by the president with the approval of parliament and can be sacked by the president. The president must still be the head of state and government. So BBI so far is a good document.
But there's an opportunity to reopen it now.
To open it what? You know, as a country, we must decide what kind of reforms do you want? Do you want a parliamentary system of government? Yes. The only route is through a referendum. From January, we start collecting signatures. We want to have a presidential system of government. We have it with the reforms in the BBI, which can be done some by policy through government, some through executive order by the president. The rest is parliamentary. Let us form a bipartisan committee like IPPG. Those that we can agree on, we bring it to parliament the way we did with the election reforms in 2017. We finish it. So, you know, Senator Haji has done a good job. Now, when you come back to the people, we are consuming more time. You know, I expected that document to be given to a committee of experts. Like in what you're doing. So sit there, can't sit there. Maya, can't sit there, can't sit there, can't maranona. Ini kila mtu. Hata wewe kunua ngamia. Hata kwa ngamia unakuja my neighbor. Ndio jamaa. Yes.
Ndo baba yao.
Ile original baba yao. Mwenye hizi watoto. This is a really father. And you know, this is a very high grade he camel. Ile mtoto anazalisha, hiyo mama, hiyo female anatoa maziwa mingi. So it's a special grade, and it costed me 150,000 to buy.
There seems to be a problem with the Hibul in Jubilee Party.
You know, after the handshake, the president is in catch-22. He is a guarantor of the handshake. But when the time comes, and he has told us in private and in public, that come 2021, he will come and campaign for whoever Jubilee will produce as presidential candidate and he will wear the party uniform.
The deputy president seems to be out of odds after the handshake.
In every government, there are quotes and quotes, either politicians or bureaucrats who wants to manage that government or that transition. So there are those who believe that they can undercut the deputy president. So they should learn from history. There are civil servants, and you remember in 2013, same civil servants, within 48 hours, removed Uhuru Kenyatta as our candidate and put Musalia Mudavadi. What happened? You are around. 10 of us, politicians. The Honorable Governor Kabogo, Cecily Mbarire, Rachel Shebesh, Kareke Mbuki, Linturi, myself, Charles Keter, Jamle Kamau. We camped at the president's house. And we brought him back to the river to its course. Civil servants and bureaucrats cannot shape the political succession of any political transition in our country.
Look at what happened in Bomas. The deputy president seemed out of wit, out of sorts, you know.
There are those who felt, oh, the deputy president. But the deputy president walked out of that Bomas more popular. He ran away with a victim card. He ran away with the card of humiliation. He walked out. He gave one of the best speeches. So ask me, who was the biggest beneficiary of Bomas? On the flip side. On the flip side, it was William Ruto. The question was asked, why do you humiliate him? What has he done? And that's why William Ruto today is not even a front runner. He's the only runner for the 2022. When they started attacking him with all manner of allegations, we said, this is good. So by the time we reach 2021, they have nothing to say about anything about us.
Do you see Jubilee up to 2022?
Jubilee is a party to watch in the next 50 years. It's a party to watch. You know the people you are seeing now, most of them are even first-timers. They are toddlers. They are still wearing political napkins. Gachuri.
Yes, sir.
This is one of the very few feedlots in our country.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What is a feedlot?
A feedlot is where you do zero grazing for beef farming, where you only give them high nutrients, plenty of water. This farm is quarantined. So even in terms of disease-free zone, this farm has no disease. So these animals are quarantined here. You see plenty of water. They will eat. And we fatten them until they reach between 450 to 500 kg. Inakuwa kama anavaa jeans. Sasa tunatanga jeans. Mwana mtu pesa. Alafu unakunja kuna dawa moja tunapatia inaua worms ndani na nje wakiingia. So that's why their body is clean. This is like a zero grazing of beef farming. That's what they call beef feedlot. It's common mainly in South Africa. We cannot do livestock or cattle farming or keeping the way my great-grandfathers used to do it. Because of the climate change, because of urbanization. If you allow cattle to go and graze normally, they cover 20 kilometers a day, either looking for pasture and looking for water and back to the homestead or to the boma. So imagine you eat, you walk for 20 kilometers to get food, and you come back. By the time you're coming back, so a lot of energy is lost. So first I realized for the pastoralists and government policymakers to change the way livestock was kept in the olden days, and I have talked to them, I realized I must show an example. Now we do local market. We provide premium meat, high quality meat. The meat that you see in 5-star, 7-star hotels in Nairobi. It's from this farm. Look at that bull, you know? That should be about 420 kg, that bull.
That one?
That one. Since 2008, President Kibaki's government has invested more than 10 billion to KMC. But it's dying because government cannot. So government must invest in the private sector. But you know, government talks big. The president has a very good idea. But the question is, are we allocating enough resources to the Ministry of Livestock? No. Are we building slaughterhouses? No.
When you look at this investment that you've made, it looks like your retirement plan or something of the sort. Are you planning to retire from politics anytime soon?
Oh, of course. I don't want to die when I'm a politician. It's the worst death. In politics, it's good you leave when people still love you. So my constituency, I've left a legacy. I've built roads. I've connected Garissa to the national grid through President Uhuru Kenyatta, tarmacked a number of the roads in town, improved education. I'm now serving 15 years, going to 15 years. I've been the first occupant of the leader of majority under the new constitution. From where I sit, I have achieved what I wanted to achieve in politics. Being a Muslim, you know, you need to plan both for this world and the hereafter. So, you know, now I need to have a very quiet, decent. Many people, you know, depend on pension schemes. It's better you plan yourself. Have your own goats. You have seen my goats. Seen this small farm. Seen my camels. Now I can come back and become a respectable elder many years to come.
Are you vying again for a parliamentary seat?
I will only vie if we go to a parliamentary system of government. Okay? Because my next destination is to work in the executive, to try. So if ministers will come from parliament, I might vie. But if it will be this system, I mean, the highest office in parliament is the leader of majority. And I've sat for 2 terms. So, but I just want to see my very good friend and old friend of myself and the president, William Ruto, become a president. Once he takes the Bible, inshallah, and he's sworn in, I'll be home and dry.
Not wanting anything?
No. Yeah, I'll take whatever he offers me. Even if he tells me, my friend, you come, be in town, and every time when you're free, we can come have a cup of tea. You know, life is not that, you should not make life to be a very greedy life. So life is a transit. And that's why this farm gives me all the solace, you know, stress-free from that toxic politics in parliament. I come here every weekend. I mean, every 2 weekends, I come once here. I do my constituency work the whole day, reaches 4 o'clock, I come and sit in the farm.
What are your projections for the year that we're getting into 2020? First, in terms of our politics, because you're a politician.
Yes. 2020, if what the president and the BBI2 is being geared for, should be the year for reforms. Whether reforms are done at the executive level, whether reforms are done at the parliamentary level, parliamentary initiative, or reforms are done through policy. Because that is the only spare year we have before 2022. 2021, my friend, the race is on. So that is one. But 2020, I expect, and honestly, because I believe in his leadership, I expect the president to be very firm on his legacy agenda. He must come out very, very clearly. In fact, in his New Year message, that I have no time for those who want to stand for 2022 presidential elections, whether it is Raila Odinga or anybody else. Yes, allow me to fulfill my legacy, the 4 big agenda and any other legacy of uniting the country. There are people who believe that we are not doing the right mix for the common man when it comes to milk, coffee, tea, small, medium business people. People are saying there's no money in their pockets. That outcry is there. It's real. So 2019, let me speak for my party and government. We were better off in 2018. So we must put our acts in order. If it's about paying pending bills, it must be paid. The president cannot be talking about paying pending bills since June this year until somebody is defying his orders. Kenya's small and medium businessmen are closing down. Their houses are being auctioned. Their property are being taken over. It's a reality. So the common man is not doing well. So we have an opportunity in 2020 to fix that. Yes. And let the unity of Kenya not be one that is pegged on, falsehood. Let it be a genuine one.
For Parliament 2020?
I think for Parliament, 2019 Parliament, if you ask me, benefited greatly from the handshake. The House was less polarized. There was more discussion between me and the leader of minority and other parties. But I think 2020 Parliament must be assertive. Parliament must state its position. Parliament must make it very clear that it has a role of oversight on the money it appropriates. Parliament must make sure that when they're given an opportunity to vet a nominee, they do it in accordance with the Constitution. That if the Constitution and the institutions that fight corruption and integrity said no, Parliament should not be a rubber stamp. So if William Ruto controls Parliament, yes, he controls Parliament, is Jubilee and Uhuru Kenyatta controlling Parliament? There is no William Ruto Jubilee and there's no Uhuru Kenyatta Jubilee and there's no Aden Duale Jubilee. We have one Jubilee party, strong, and we have never lost one agenda of government. Yes.
There are those who really like you and there are those who totally detest you. Does it concern you?
No, I mean, it concerns my family members. In fact, in a better way, I am hated and loved with equal measure in this country. But, I have to do a job. And my office entails me that I cannot take a middle ground. I cannot be like this man called Watermelon, Kalonzo Musyoka. My character is, I say it the way it is. So sometimes I know you because I say what I feel. I don't sugarcoat it. I don't pamper you. And I am very happy under the leadership of Uhuru Kenyatta, when we are one-to-one together, I tell him, Mr. President, this is possible, this is not possible. And he understands. So I don't mind, in politics, and particularly Kenyan politics, all that you need to do is 50% are supporting me, 49% are not supporting me. I'm sure when I write my book and people read my book, they will say, oh yes, this guy was right. And maybe when the next House Majority Leader comes, they have somebody to compare with. At least there is a comparison. The guy who's going to sit on my chair has work to do.